All right, we're here. Little gap day, no full pod. Let's go over your emails. We didn't get a chance to go over them on the last one because we had Tyler Rucker on for a draft recap. If you want to check that out, go check that out. Or not a recap, but a draft preview, I should say. So make sure to jump on over there to the channel to check that out. So let's run through the emails as my alarm goes off on my phone. Starting with Ryan Hall, who asked us about Ryan Kalkbrenner. Ryan says, when you start doing a draft video, make sure Ryan Kalkbrenner is at the top of the list. He's in our range, protected late first, early second, projected late first, early second. He's a 7'1". Oh, I refreshed instead of full screen. He is a 7'1" center who shoots threes. He was also just teammates with Baylor Shireman. He shot 17 of 23 from three at his pro day. Here's a 3-minute video of his dropping 49 points this year. We can take a look at the little, or at least a few clips from this.
I'm glad to know that we were sharp on Big Kalk.
There he is. I don't love Kalk. That's my take. I don't love him.
What do you not like about him?
He screams Zach Edey to me. And Zach Edey's fine.
Playoff starter Zach Edey.
Not good thing, playoff starters. He's just like, I know you're naturally gonna be a bit like bumbly tumbly at 7'2". It's just a bit too much. Like, it's just he's a bit too slow. And I get it. You're gonna be slow when you're that big. Luke Cornett is not that slow.
Nope.
Luke Cornett, what? Throw the
catch now you.
Listen, like, I don't know, and I could be very wrong. This could be a bad take. I don't know shit, right? I obviously haven't studied these guys a year. Tyler said the Celtics should definitely go get this guy, and I trust that guy more than I trust myself this time of year. I just don't see it. And could I be wrong? 100%. I don't know. He's just nothing I've seen.
He's a slowed down Cornette from this one game.
How much slower can you get from Cornette though?
To be like actually playable, not much.
Exactly.
He does have good touch around the basket, and he can shoot the three a little bit. He doesn't take a high volume, and that 4 straight defensive player of the years in the Big East is no joke, because the Big East is one of the better conferences. Obviously, UConn winning the national championship there in 2 of those seasons, and then St. John's was one of the better teams in the country this year too. Creighton is usually pretty good, as you can see by the ranking. But, I mean, he's not perfect. There's a reason why he's at the end of the first round, right?
Yep.
I think the sentiment is like, they have a guy whose body is NBA ready, and he's got a pretty decent understanding of the game. Maybe you can plug him in the lineup next year if you need him to eat minutes, because, you know, we said it. The center rotation, massive question mark as of May 22nd.
Yep. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm proven wrong. I don't know. He just, the way he moves doesn't scream he'll eat minutes. But we'll see. If they take him, I'll be happy to be wrong. Next email we got.
We got some brand new ones from Michael Hilly. Shout out
one sec. Ryan also said, oh, no, that's just the video. Isaac Melendez says, do you think the Celtics would have won the next series if Jason Tatum and Derek White wore their headbands?
Yes. Literally anything that they could have changed might have got them over the finish line in those first 2 games.
Sure.
I'll say this is RJ wore his headband on the pregame show of Game 3, and they played their best game of the series.
Sure, maybe they would have won. Maybe they would have changed it all. Philip Hart says, fellas, thank you for reading the emails. As always, my last one regarding the idealist trade generated a fun discussion. Well, I think that is a bad plan. I do not support the idea of trading Brown or White. My belief is that White, JT, and JB are the Celtics core. From there, I drew up a few trade ideas, believing that we need to get under the apron and add a talented center and point guard. For fun, I put those ideas into menu form. Why not? Have a look and tell me if anything looks appetizing. Would you order something or just move on to a new restaurant? Best, Phil. Jesus. Banner Bistro. Appetizers, Gafford garlic bread. Lose KP and Sam. Get Daniel Gafford. Starting 5 is Drew White, JB, JT Gafford. Substitute Mark Williams for Gafford for no upcharge. I'd get Gafford. I like Gafford. I think he's pretty good.
What did he injure last year at the end of the season? Anything substantial? I know he was out. Or did I make that up?
Um,
I think he
I
missed some
can look.
time.
Let me look. I don't know. It was a right knee sprain, grade 3
Okay.
MCL.
So I don't know if that's like sound the alarms bad, but he over the last couple seasons has played most of the games. 21, 22 played 72, 22, 23 played 78, 23, 24 played 74. 57 last season was his least in that span. So he's pretty durable. Mark Williams, everybody knows the
Yeah,
injuries do pop in every now and then for him. But he does have the Lakers hate, so
it's true.
you have to give and take.
Suggs, Samosas, youth at point guard. Lose Drew and Sam. Get Jalen Suggs. Starting five: Suggs, White, JB, JT, KP. KP expires May 26th. Substitute Shade and Ivy for Suggs for an upcharge. I don't think the Magic are giving you Suggs.
I don't think either team's doing that.
I mean, I think maybe there's a chance you get Ivy because they
The
just
uncertainty with
saw,
the broken leg.
or you just saw that you can win without Ivy. And so if you want to try to go more all in on winning now, double down on putting the ball in Cade's hands, I don't think they trade Suggs. I think Suggs is underrated. And Ivy's pretty good too, but I don't know. I don't think the Magic would say yes to that trade.
I think Orlando would keep Suggs. I agree with you. I think Suggs is someone that they see as a part of their future. I think we've even heard reports that like they have hopes he can become Derek White, which is a
I
good
think that's
goal for
just what I
somebody.
said. Or
Oh,
maybe
maybe
that
it's
is a
what you
report.
said. Jack reported that they hope that he can become Derek White. But with that being said, like the skill set that you're going to get with Jalen Suggs compared to Drew Holiday is a little similar. Drew Holiday is probably more polished at this point, but is he going to be more polished at the end of this contract that they're paying him? Maybe not. You're probably better off holding on to Suggs if you're them. The Ivy thing, I would be intrigued by. I'm not sure that the Pistons do it. I think they're just pretty happy with what they have. The Pistons are a team that, one, have cap space, and two, have enough young talent that they can afford to take on a heavy contract like the Holiday thing, where if they really think it'll help them, they're still paying a lot of young guys. Like it's not like it's gonna financially ruin them, at least not yet. So if you can get Ivy back, you get a young player back in the package where you're trying to shed salary, that is a massive win.
Yes, agree. Next one is both KP, Drew, and Sam for Suggs and Gafford. Again, I don't think they're giving up Suggs. Gafford, maybe. I'm still in. And then the chicken Pirtle pie, playmaking big, lose KP and Drew, get Jakob Pirtle. Um, you're the Raptors. I don't know if you do that. I mean, maybe if you're like talking about multiple trades, I wouldn't hate Pirtle though. I think he'd be fine. I mean, he's kind of like a slightly better Cornet, realistically, if you put him into that role. So sure. I mean, Scow would be thrilled.
Yeah, I was gonna say Scals entered the chat. He loves Pirtle.
You're fun with
uh,
me.
let's see. I mean, like, listen, it's not the worst substitution losing Porzingis. Like, that's a guy you know can eat substantial center minutes. He's legit good. And I mean, what do you have, 35 in that game against the Celtics earlier in the season? Like, he's
Mhm.
been around the block for a while, so it would not be a bad get for them. And I could see Toronto wanting to take a step forward with the group of guys they have where they've invested. But again, with how much they've invested, do they really want those two contracts?
Exactly. Yeah. They already have a lot of big contracts on their books, too. I don't even think this is financially legal. So it would have to be a workaround. Thank you, Philip. Next one.
Thank you for the
Isaacs.
graphic design on the menu.
Yes, 100%. Hey, I have a fun question. Remember the season when Klay Thompson couldn't play due to injury and was commentating for the local broadcast during the game? Do you think the Celtics broadcast while Tatum commenting for a game or two, or commentating for a game or two? I think it's a fun idea. Uh, I don't know if that would be Jason Tatum's shtick. That just doesn't sound like a very Tatum thing, but it would be cool.
I agree. I also don't know if Tatum would be very good at it. But you can never say never because NBC Sports Boston will do it if he's there. Like they've had
Yeah,
Brad Stevens on, and Brad Stevens doesn't have like the greatest on-air personality. Not that he should. It's not his job. It's actually probably the opposite of his
it's
job.
not
They don't
Tatum's
want him
job
to.
either.
It's not Tatum's job either. Correct. But I don't know how good he would be at it.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, I think it would be very cool. So if Tatum decides that he would be down, then I'd be interested to listen to see what he has to say. But we'll see. Next, RJ says NBA Trivia Conference Finals. Afternoon, folks. Trivia question. The answer will follow separately. Now that the Knicks have made it back to the ECF, only 3 teams remain that have not appeared in the conference finals until the new millennium. Can you name them? Be well, RJ. Wait, only 3 teams remain that have not. Only 3
Charlotte.
teams in the NBA have not made it. Charlotte, yes. So new millennium is just since 2000, right?
Since 2000.
So I'm just gonna go by conference. The Celtics have, Raptors have, Sixers have,
I don't know if the
the Nets
Pelicans have.
Pelicans have not. So the entire East, the East has, or not the East has, but the Atlantic has, because the Knicks just did. Central would be Bucks, Pacers, Pistons, Bulls. Bulls had Derrick Rose teams; they made it.
Yeah.
Bulls, and then who am I missing? Pistons, Bucks, Pacers, Bulls. Who else
Cavs.
is Cavs have? Okay, then you've got Wizards.
It's the Wizards. So it's gonna be Wizards, Pelicans.
Wizards, Hornets, Pelicans.
Yeah.
That's our guess. Let's see. Now the answer: only 3 teams. Yep. 2 have never made it in their existence, the Hornets and the Pelicans, but neither team has gone the longest. The distinction belongs to the Wizards, who last made the conference finals in 1979. No wonder there are so many Celtics fans in DC. Be well, RJ. Thanks, RJ. I like the trivia. Keep it coming. Next. Summer of silly swap suggestions. Morning, everyone. Jack, I figured I'd get the alliteration out of the way early. Saw the pod on the D White to the Dubs trade notion. You nailed it. The Celtics are not going to move him or Jalen Pritchard or Hauser this summer for all the CBA reality reasons you cited. Thank you, Keith Smith, for Spot Track. If only more people would use the resources there. Boston is structured to be built around 3 players in 2029, Brown, Tatum, and White, all of whom will be ludicrously underpaid as their contracts mature. Brad is not giving up on the stability unless someone tries to way overpay him. I should not be surprised, though. Bargaining is one of the stages of grieving. I just hope the Celtics fandom and media pass through it quickly. Be well, RJ, who wishes the junior GMs would get a new hobby. Yeah, I don't think those guys are getting moved.
Yeah, me neither. Good call.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for the alliteration. Rob says trade get below the first apron and repeater tax line. Hello, longtime viewer and commenter, first time writer. Thanks, Rob.
Thanks for writing.
I'm the guy who typically talks a lot about trades, the cap, and aprons in the comments. Thought I'd get right in and get your thoughts on a trade I cooked up. The challenge is getting under the repeater tax line, not just the second apron, to reset the penalties while avoid moving too much key personnel. Most people keep saying that the trades are going to be too difficult and we don't have to let go of so many key players. I disagree. Here's what I cooked up: all legal trade. Okay, well, first and foremost, the Celtics as a second apron team cannot combine players in a trade, so this would have to be separate trades somehow. Context. So it's not legal unless you split it up. But in theory, if the Celtics do split it up, Celtics get Keon Ellis, George Niang, 2 future seconds, 13 in this draft, and a future first. Boston loses KP, Drew, JD Davison, I assume that is, and Tillman. Atlanta gets DeRozan, KP, and JD Davison. Atlanta loses the 13th pick, future first, and a future second. Sacramento gets Drew, Terrence Mann, and Tillman, and they lose DeRozan, Keon Ellis, and a future second. So basically, the Kings are trading DeRozan, Keon Ellis in a second for Drew, Terrence Mann, and Tillman. Atlanta's trading 13, a first, a second, and Niang for DeRozan, KP, and JD. So neither of these individual trades are legal because the Celtics can't combine players in a trade. So it would have to be, you'd have to get the Nets involved to take on like something. I don't know how you'd make this legal, but this is not, the Celtics can't combine players in trades right now. But
The
all in
CBA is
theory,
ruined fun.
yeah, you can't combine players in trades, but all in theory, I don't think the Kings would do this trade individually. Drew, Terrence Mann, and Tillman for DeRozan, Keon Ellis, and a future second. This is 2 rotation players for 1 rotation player who is on a bad aging contract. Sorry, Drew, it's not great. And I think Keon Ellis is very underrated at this point. Maybe they're like, oh, we don't want to have to pay Keon Ellis. Let's just double down on Drew Holiday in the defense. So like maybe. And then maybe the Hawks do this. This definitely gives them more talent, but I don't know to the extent of which they would want DeRozan with Jalen Johnson and Dyson Daniels as their wings. But let me read your things. Use Spot Track Trade Machine. Fanspo isn't updated with CBA rules. I'll say that. I see this now. Use Spot Track Trade Machine. I'll link it down below if I remember. Why Boston does it? The trade gets them $17.5 million below the tax line, 25.6 below the first apron. Expiring contracts help them reset further the year after, or they could keep Keon. They get a couple late firsts and seconds for Drew and KP, so it's not just a salary dump. Why Atlanta does it? They lack offense when Trey gets off the floor. Getting a proven 20-point per game bucket getter in DeRozan and KP for the low price of two late firsts, two real players, Man and Yang, in 1 second. KP and DeRozan should help now them compete in a wide open East. They don't worry too much about financials because DeRozan isn't expensive anyways. Why Sacramento does it? Swapping Drew for DeRozan gives them a better roster balance. They had too many SGs and lacked a true starting point guard. For the low price of expiring Keon in a second, they get to take a look at Terrence Mann as well. How I constructed it, the key is to find any teams with large TPs to shed unwanted salary we had coming back while getting two picks and compensation. This helped me shave massive amount of salary while getting a decent return in picks. This is not a sample trade. This is just a sample trade. There are multiple iterations, as there are other teams with cap space, Brooklyn, larger TVs like Chicago, Miami, New Orleans. This means we aren't shoehorned into two specific partners. Curious your thoughts. Thanks, Rob version 1. And this was the final trade. I mean, I like it in theory. It's just you need to be able to split it up. But yeah.
I wonder. Well, I guess like the Davison piece of this must make it work. Like him being in there must be necessary because could you do it where you're convincing Atlanta? No, not really.
Convincing Atlanta what?
Because let's see, Atlanta sends out Terrence Mann. So yeah, I don't know. This is complicated to me. But in the vacuum, like
it's fine for the Celtics, but
I can get behind George Niang, Massachusetts man. I think it would be incredible to get draft capital back. I fear that will not happen, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't think either the Hawks or the Kings would be super duper interested.
I do think you did a good job of finding teams that like could talk themselves into, okay, like we get another piece, we can be competitive.
Yeah,
especially Atlanta in the Eastern Conference, right? Like this trade makes them probably a 6 and up seed if everything works out correctly. I guess. KP can still be like a decent lob threat for Trae Young
if he's healthy.
If he's healthy, DeRozan, if you don't want him to start next to Trae Young with Dyson and Jalen Johnson being so important, you can bring him off the bench. He would be great 6-man type bucket getter at this stage of his career. Like
if he doesn't,
I can see it. I feel like DeRozan's been in purgatory for so long. He might be like, I'm down.
And the Hawks aren't purgatory.
If he commits, they can commit to not being purgatory.
Man, listen, I don't hate it. Like I understand why both teams would do it. The 13th pick for an unknown in Kristaps and DeRozan, plus a future first. Like they just got their first back for DeJounte Murray, or tried to. They're still losing first from that. Like I don't know if they're in the market of trading more first for anything other than proven talent. And then I don't know. Like I get why the Kings would do it because you get a very much like a better Drew Holiday. I also don't know if it's worth it for the Kings to go all in on this version of the team any more than they already have.
Correct.
And also it would need to be split up into multiple deals, so I don't even know if it would be legal once you split it up. But I like the concept of, like Sam said, finding teams that might want to try to compete. And so I don't think it's impossible that these teams take a chance on these players. I especially don't think it's impossible that the Kings might want to take a chance on Drew Holiday. I like that part of it the most, but I don't know. It's just going to be really hard to trade those two guys. But thank you, Rob.
Rob.
Appreciate you. Michael Hill, he sent us NBA Draft 2025 scouting report. Hey guys, hope all is well. I finally finished my scouting report for the 25 draft. I made this last year and we ended up taking Baylor Sharman, who was on the list. Right now, we don't even know if we're keeping the pick or not. With the talk of potentially trading the pick to clear some salary from Jake Fisher, I made this and is subject to change depending on what else they get reported before the draft. But I hope you enjoy this class. Is so much deeper than last season. So many more NBA ready prospects with skill sets. 1. Ryan Kalkbrenner, 7'1" center, solid defensive instincts, interior scoring, not much of a shooter as people would think. Would take depth, would be good depth, assuming we trade KP. Showed some ability to shoot the ball, although with 33% from 3. We've talked about the Kalkbrenner earlier in this email.
Yep.
He's fun. Rasheer Fleming, excuse me, St. John's forward, 6'9", solid rebounder, efficient scorer at all levels, 40% from 3, doesn't handle the ball much, more of a playoff others guy, pick and roll, / pick and pop man, super athletic, solid defender, 7'5" wingspan, scat super high in him from that revelation at the combine. Likely gone before the Celtics pick, but the draft is deep, so it's possible. I like Fleming. My only question is, can he play the 5? And I mean, you have him listed as a 3-4 here. I think if he can play the 5, he'd be the best pick. But
I mean, the wingspan makes it possible. That
I just don't know if
wingspan
he's
is
big
just
enough.
about the same as Kalkbrenner's for perspective.
I just don't know if he's like big enough, like bulky enough to play the 5.
That's a reasonable. I mean, and is he a freak athlete? Super athletic, Michael says. So, like, I mean, historically, all I'm thinking about is Rob. Obviously, I'm like, Rob was 6'8", and he was this freak center, and he was a freak athlete with massively long arms. But
yeah, but he was
apples to apples
off the ball
here.
Center. Like they did everything
Correct.
possible for him not to guard centers, and so I don't know. Drake Powell, UNC, shooting guard, small forward, 6'6", super efficient at the rim, has a weird shot, but shoot threes at a decent clip, 37%, 61 effective field goal percentage, excellent catch and shoot, struggles off the dribble, solid defender. I don't know much about Drake Powell, but I've heard good things. I've seen him mocked a lot, so
maybe we will do a video on him.
We got plenty of stuff to do videos on. Cedric Howard, Duke, technically Duke, but really Washington State because he transferred but hasn't gone to Duke yet. 6'6", one of the best scorers in the class, not even a bad defender. That's such a funny part is that report, not even a bad defender. Does a good Derek White impression going for blocks and transition, efficient score at all levels, off the dribble, catch and shoot post-ups at the run, all efficient. Good athlete, projected to go earlier in some mocks and after in some mocks, just speaks to how deep this class is supposed to be. Yeah, late riser, Cedric Howard, but I've heard good things.
Yeah, he like if we're talking about the Celtics taking someone that isn't like an immediate need, meaning center or point guard, with the trades looming, this is my favorite of them. I think he's just really fun to watch. The athleticism makes him an exciting player, and the versatile game, and also his journey, I think, says a little bit about his character, like working his way up from lower division colleges, ending up Eastern Washington now with the opportunity to go play at Duke if he stays in college, but he's shooting up draft boards. Like, guy's probably better than everybody thinks.
Agree, indeed. Yaxel Lendenborg, 6'9", played point forward role at UAB, rebounds well, relentless on putbacks, good at the rim, mid-range shot is good, only 35% from 3, off the dribble, scoring not efficient, passes really well and sees the floor well, high motor, pushing transition at elite level. He intrigues me. I haven't seen much of him, but from all the scouting reports and everything I've read and what Tyler said, I would like to watch a video of him, but we'll have to plan that out.
Yeah, the well-rounded game certainly makes him an intriguing prospect, right? And we'll have to see more like from the combine because like UAB is not in a Power 5 type conference, so
yes,
the statistics are great, but like not playing against the top tier talent does negate them a little bit. But listen, you don't really end up in this sort of spot as a prospect for no reason. All of these guys are being heralded at a high regard because they are talented.
And I mean, we see every year prospects from non-Power 5s. Like where Jalen Williams goes, Santa Clara, Pajemski, Santa Clara. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying like,
I wonder that's what I'm saying. Like these guys end up in the big boards where they're placed because they are talented, regardless.
Yes. Walter Clayton, Florida, 6'3", high usage, efficient shot creator. Pritchard comparison, scores from everywhere, passes well, not a great defender. So my one worry with Walter Clayton, and I do like him. I watched about 10 minutes or less of highlights. And so what I was doing when I was looking at like, oh, let me do my little scouting thing. I watched a little bit of highlights. I would write down my thoughts, and I would look at Yahoo and No Ceilings, and I would look at what everyone else said to see, okay, am I spot on? Did I not watch enough to know? It took me 2 defensive highlights to write down, holy shit, this guy gets lost off the ball and doesn't pay attention. And one of the first things I read on the scouting report was aloof. He is not a good defender at all. So that is my one worry with Walter Clayton, is that he does not pay attention on defense. But yes, he's a great scorer.
To tie it back to Pritchard, one thing that makes Pritchard great at his size is that he's a bulldog type defender. Like, the Celtics can trust him to be out there in a playoff situation, even with his lack of size, because he's going to give the best effort. He's not going to get lost. He's going to stay in front of the ball handler and not give any space, regardless if he's outsized, outstrength, outmuscled, whatever you want to say. Are we going to get to see Aloof?
I mean, these are the first two defensive highlights on his thing, right?
Okay.
And so, if like, he's just standing in the corner, right? Like, that's a good contest, right? But then you get to here, no idea where he's going right here. Look at this.
They might be in
Where's his
zone
man
there.
Are they?
Well, to be honest with
even
you,
if they are,
hold on. Reset this play. In fairness to Clayton,
they're also lost. Yes,
these two dudes are like holding hands.
These two are
here.
also lost. Yeah, these two are also lost. But then he follows no one. Then he picks no one. His solution is, I'm not going to guard anybody. And then he stands here. Listen. And then here, he's on the ball. He gets beat immediately. And then he's
not
like,
good.
It's just, and that was foul.
It is funny that
the
defensive highlights kind of tell on themselves, where if you
exactly.
look close enough, you're like, wait a minute.
That was my biggest thing. It was not that those were so egregious, it's the fact that those are the highlights. Like that was my Danny Wolf, 7-foot center, elite rim protector and rebounder, mobile big, showed some ability to shoot the ball, not very efficient. Was actually really good at catch and shoot. 51% effective field goal percentage on catch and shoot. Danny Wolf's one of my favorite guys. I love Danny Wolf a lot. I think he's so fun. He's so intriguing. I think when we do the video on Danny Wolf, you're going to understand why I'm so obsessed. And I'm excited.
I was intrigued when we were talking about him with Tyler Rucker. I mean, anytime you say Jokic, but the versatility is going to be important. Just thinking about the ways the Celtics would use him. What separated Cornette this year and made him so much more effective is that he became head on a swivel passer out of the short roll, and it was something we noticed right away. If they can use Danny Wolf in that way, while he is also an elite rim protector and rebounder,
I think
that's a great fill-in if necessary.
I think Danny Wolf would have a case to be the best passer on the Celtics with Jason Tatum hurt right now.
Okay.
Like, that is how good of a passer Danny Wolf is.
We're officially monitoring him then.
He plays like Rondo. Like, that wasn't an exaggeration. He's Rondo, but he's 7 foot tall.
Neat
Clifford, Colorado. I know. Neat Clifford. Actually, Shireman's a really good passer. Neat Clifford, Colorado, 6'6", very skilled scorer, elite shot creator, good passer vision for the game, 91st percentile scoring, pick and roll ball handler, average defender, can play on or off ball offense. I think he's better than average defender. I'm doing a mock draft for Houdini right now. I have him going 10th. I think Neat Clifford's going to be long gone, but I do like him a lot. He's also older, but I don't think that matters to the Celtics. But he's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a massive need, but if you can get another offensive piece, it's going to help you. I think having as much offensive creativity as you can solve some of the problems we saw in the Knicks series. Like, they have Pritchard, and he's a creative offensive player. They have White, who's shown he can create too. But you can see how much they really missed Porzingis, who is the tertiary creator on the Celtics, even if that creation is just, I'm going to turn around and shoot the ball because I'm taller than you. When they didn't have that, they didn't have as much firepower, and it really hurt them. So if you're able to get somebody else in that can penetrate and put pressure on the defense, why not?
Mm-hmm. Agree. Maxime Reynaud, Stanford, 7'1", solid rim protector, good passer, has vision, has some ability to shoot the three, 34%. Was elite scoring in the post, fairly mobile for a big. I don't know much about Maxime Reynaud, but I see him in the range a lot. So,
Bobby K, wrote up a report on Reynaud for Hardwood Houdini. Go check it out. It's definitely up by the time you're listening to this. Tyler Rucker, what do we compare to Porzingis? So,
yeah, I don't remember.
I think that's what the scouting report we got on him was. So, if you're looking to replace Porzingis, maybe you look here. You think about it. Averaged a double-double in the ACC with Stanford on the West Coast, which always makes sense.
Noah Penda, France forward, long, tall shooting wing, only shot 34% for Le Mans last year. Solid run. Solid rim protector and rebounder, passes well, finishes well, solid for the second round, not a good point of attack defender. Yeah. Noah Penda. I don't know much about it, but I don't know how interested I'm going to be in forwards, man. I don't know if they need any more wings.
I feel the same. It's just, I don't want them to pick somebody good again and then have them get buried. And also you have Shireman, and you also have Walsh. Two guys that you'd like more of a look at, even if you don't buy Walsh completely. I know.
Unless they're obsessed with one. Like, if they get to the, whatever it is, 28, and Cedric Howard's still there, you got a guy you really loved, and, at that point, you just take it and you figure it out. But it is what it is. Hugo Gonzalez, 6'7", athletic wing, can finish and defend, struggle shooting the ball, 24 from 3. Jonathan Kuminga comparison, oof. Good ISO player, limited minutes from Real Madrid because he's young. Yeah, I don't know about the Jonathan Kuminga.
Never good. It's not good to be comped to a guy that can't get in a rotation that desperately needs bodies.
Exactly. And then Ben Serif, 6'5", point guard, shooting guard, young prospect, barely 19 when the draft starts, highly skilled combo guard, needs to improve his 3, shot 35%, needs to improve finishing through traffic, shot slow motion, good shot creator, good handle, solid pick and roll ball handler, not the greatest athlete. I watched Ben Serif, and he screams like maybe Josh Giddey, and I just don't think the Celtics need that. It's just a fine player. It's just, I just don't see it for the Celtics. Personal favorites: Colin Coward, Rasheed Fleming. I had a sort of feeling about Kalower last year, and he ended up being a stud. Hope you enjoyed it. Did. Thank you. We appreciate you, Michael.
Stud? That first summer league game, my goodness.
Yeah, where's him and Bam are going to be a problem. Last email, Michael Hilly draft list. Oh wait, it did send through. I didn't get this first one, Michael, but I saw this second one pop up. But this first one wasn't in our inbox when we started today. But thank you for sending them through. Cool. Appreciate the emails, guys. We will usually read them on the full pods. It's just we haven't had time these last two because we've run so long for the draft preview and everything. But thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, email us hbtcpod@gmail.com, and I'll Sam take it out.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, send us emails, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Subscribe. We're here every single day with new content, even in the summer. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps up the morning after each game, and other videos like this one are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find the two of us on Spotify and Apple. All of the pods and game recaps are up there, so if you just want the audio versions, follow. They will go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that. Tell your friends. Definitely do that. The email, again, is hbtcpod. We love getting emails from everybody. Great batch of emails today. Helped us do a half-hour worth of content. Thank you. Socials, @HowAboutThemCs for Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at Jack's1NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco, come on.
Taco's having some fun here.
That is bogus.